Some of you may not like hearing this, but a lot of people say they love their dogs, while unintentionally stressing them out every single day. Not because they're cruel, but because they don't understand. We often believe that good intentions are enough. But in behavioral science, good intentions don't always create good outcomes. So the question today isn't, do you love your dog? The real question is, are you raising your dog in a way that makes them feel safer or more anxious? And over the next 10 minutes, you might recognize a few uncomfortable truths. Dogs don't just live in your house. They live inside your nervous system. A 2015 study by Nagasawa and colleagues at Azabu University in Japan found that when dogs and their owners make eye contact, both experience an increase in oxytocin, the bonding hormone. But other research shows that cortisol, the stress hormone, can synchronize between dogs and their owners as well. That means if you're chronically stressed, there's a strong chance your dog is too. We don't just raise dogs with food and commands. We raise them with our nervous system. You can't say no. You give extra treats because of that look. But in nature, pack structures are clear. Clarity reduces anxiety. Modern behavioral science shows that inconsistency increases uncertainty, and uncertainty is one of the strongest triggers of stress. Dogs don't need indulgence. They need predictability. Advice for you? Build simple, consistent rules that don't shift with your emotions. Boundaries don't weaken love. They give love structure. You believe dogs should obey without question. But research on punishment-based training shows that fear-based methods increase long-term cortisol levels and may be linked to increased aggression later on. A dog that obeys out of fear is not the same as a dog that cooperates out of trust. In the canine brain, the dopamine reward system activates far more strongly with positive reinforcement. Advice for you? Shift from making them afraid to fail to making them want to succeed. The difference lies in internal motivation. We're living in a lonelier society than ever before, and dogs become emotional anchors. That connection is beautiful. But if your dog becomes your only emotional support, they may develop separation anxiety. Studies suggest dogs can synchronize heart rate and stress responses with their owners during tense situations. If you live in constant anxiety, your dog may learn to stay in constant vigilance. Advice for you: love your dog deeply, but don't place your entire emotional world on their shoulders. They are companions, not your only support system. You believe your dog knows they did wrong when they lower their head. But behavior science tells us that what looks like guilt is actually appeasement behavior, a stress-reducing signal in response to your tone or posture. Dogs don't think in moral terms. They think in associations. When you assign guilt, you may miss the real environmental trigger. Advice for you: instead of asking, "Why is my dog bad?" ask, "What in the environment reinforced this behavior?" Dogs are social, pack-oriented animals. Long-term social deprivation can raise baseline stress levels and trigger repetitive behaviors. Constant paw licking or destructive behavior isn't always mischief. It can be understimulation. Advice for you: 20 to 30 minutes of focused, quality interaction per day can dramatically change your dog's neurological state. Dogs don't just need you nearby. They need you present. You read every ingredient label. You worry when your dog scratches a little more than usual. You research symptoms before bed. You love carefully. But dogs don't just read your actions. They read your physiology. Research shows cortisol levels can synchronize between dogs and owners who share the same environment. Dogs detect subtle changes in your voice, breathing, body movement, and even stress hormones through scent. If you live in constant worry, your dog's nervous system may learn to stay alert too. Advice for you: continue caring deeply, but practice intentional calm. Trust medical data instead of worst-case assumptions. Your dog needs your attention, but they need your stability even more. Your calm presence is the safest environment they have. You believe dogs will naturally grow out of behaviors. But neuroscience tells us otherwise. Between 3 and 14 weeks of age, puppies enter a critical socialization window. Synaptic connections form rapidly based on experience. The brain doesn't label behaviors good or bad. It strengthens what is repeated. Without guidance, undesired behaviors simply become reinforced neural pathways. Advice for you: natural doesn't mean hands-off. Early guidance creates long-term freedom. Sometimes doing nothing is still a choice with consequences. You avoid changes because you don't want your dog stressed. But research on stress inoculation shows that controlled, moderate stress exposure builds resilience. The nervous system strengthens through manageable challenge. If a dog never experiences small changes, they won't develop adaptive capacity. Advice for you: introduce small, controlled changes. Safety is not the absence of challenge. Safety is the ability to recover from it. Your dog may have more photos than you do. The issue isn't social media, it's motivation. Research on human-animal bonds shows that quality of interaction matters more than frequency of exposure. Dogs react strongly to prolonged, direct staring, forced positioning, or overstimulation outside their comfort zone. Mild stress, repeated often, is still stress. Advice for you: before you record, ask one simple question. Is my dog comfortable right now? Popularity means nothing to them. Security means everything. One day you're affectionate. The next day, you're short-tempered. The issue isn't emotion. It's unpredictability. Studies on predictability show that uncertain environments increase amygdala activation, the brain's fear center. Dogs aren't afraid because you raised your voice. They're anxious because they don't know when it will happen again. Advice for you: your dog doesn't need you to be cheerful all the time. They need you to be consistent. Stability matters more than perfection. You structure your entire life around your dog. That sounds loving. But high mutual dependency is linked to increased separation anxiety. When every safety signal depends on your presence, dogs don't learn self-regulation. Oxytocin builds bonds. But bonding isn't the same as dependence. Advice for you: teach your dog to feel secure even when you're not there. Healthy attachment allows space. You notice small signals: lip licking, turning away, subtle yawns. You understand behavior as communication. Research on cross-species emotional regulation shows dogs can synchronize physiological states with stable owners. Your nervous system becomes their anchor. Advice for you: keep learning. Understanding behavior isn't about control. It's about reducing conflict between two different species. You may see yourself in more than one type, and that's normal, because raising a dog isn't just about shaping them. It's about stabilizing yourself. Your dog doesn't need you to become someone else. They need you to become steady. This conversation isn't just about dogs. The way you raise your dog reflects how you set boundaries, how you manage anxiety, and how you define love. Dogs don't need perfection. They need a nervous system stable enough that they don't have to stay on guard. And sometimes, learning to raise your dog better is really about learning to regulate yourself. So, be honest. Which type do you recognize most in yourself? And if you've changed the way you raise your dog, what made you realize something needed to shift? Share your story in the comments, because your insight might help another dog live more safely. If content like this makes you reflect on how you raise your dog, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next one. Subscribe if you believe love should come with understanding.